All right, Taurus, the rebel who wants to give up, right? Like, I've seen this combination one time before, but I think for you guys, this could go one of two ways. We're either talking about, you going against what would be considered normal and things not actually working out, and you're kind of like running the risk here of giving up completely, or it's because things are not working out that you're rebelling. So from Lay Vampire, rebellion, upstart to molten revolution, and then perseverance from Chakra Wisdom. Rebellion is saying that it's time to be truthful about who you are and what it is that you wish to create in your life. You need to follow your own path here. Do what you feel like is right for you. I always love it when people go against the norm. But with perseverance, you're wanting to give up. And that may be because you're not seeing what you are trying to create, but it's saying that it's like right there. But sometimes that's not helpful, because then the question becomes, well, how much longer do I have to keep doing this before I start seeing what, I'm wanting to create here? But like I said, for some of you, here's your overall for the week. The world, very nice. Very, very nice. Now, with the world being the overall, we can definitely be talking about a situation here that is coming to a very nice close. I love the world because when we're talking about completion cards, this is one of the ones where you get to feel good about what is coming to a close. Feeling successful, feeling on top of the world, like you've accomplished something, right? But now with it being the overall could also suggest that you need to take the next steps to complete a chapter out. But it's there, like it's right there. In the past, the Six of Wands, and that's not bad. With the Six of Wands as the past coming through, this is victory over adversity, absolutely. Recognition for a job well done, doing the right thing, and people noticing you doing the right thing. Positive recognition and attention. And are you needing to see something through to the end here, though? Because this is a small victory here. Oh boy, in the present, the Eight of Cups. Okay. Now, with the world being the overall, that to me is saying that even if you do feel like it's time to move on or time to walk away from something here, it's still going to complete itself in a way that you feel good about it. But with the Eight of Cups being in the present moment, we're talking about, needing to stop giving to something that is no longer fulfilling you. With the Six of Wands, it's like at one point you felt like you were doing the right thing. And, the people around you are saying, yeah, that's great. That's perfect. That's what you should be doing, bravo, right? But then you move into the Eight of Cups and you're like, I don't know if I can do this. And it's funny because perseverance, right? Like wanting to give up, wanting to walk away from something. But my problem with the Eight of Cups is, I don't like the idea of somebody continuing to do something that is not making them happy. But are you actually moving on? Are you actually walking away from this? Or are you just considering it now in the present moment? Based on the fact that you're not seeing what you want. Oh, Taurus. And this is what I'm talking about, the devil and future conditions, right? Why do this to yourself? Why continue to do this? Maybe the best thing here is to just say, you know what? I can't. I need to stop doing this. With the devil being there, this is saying that this situation has, control over you, has power over you. I see this person and they're trapped, right? But you hold the key to get out of this. But the only way to do that may be to walk away from something that, at one point you may have felt like was the right thing to do, but then again, are you being influenced by, other people and what other people are saying? But the progression here, right? But again, with the world being there, this is going to come to a close. This part of your life is definitely going to come to an end where you're no longer, giving to a situation here that is just not making you happy, making you feel trapped, and it's not that by moving on, you're going to do the wrong thing, right? And certainly don't worry about what other people think. If it's not making you happy, then don't do it. But right, like I've always said with the Eight of Cups, it's not that easy. Sometimes we have to stay with the bullshit for a minute before we figure it out. The problem is you're moving into the devil. Your best path to follow the Ace of Swords, right? Like the truth of the situation, and needing to see that truth, accept that truth, and allow that aha moment to kind of come in and help you see and realize that you're not really abandoning anything, because I think if you're looking at it in that way, that may be what is preventing you from walking away from it completely, whether we're talking about a job, relationship, whatever it is. I feel like with the Six of Wands as a past coming through, some of you may be a little bit worried about what other people think, right? Which bothers me, right? And it's funny because every time I get into a Taurus reading, like I've always said, I feel like a wannabe Taurus because it's my rising, yeah, but right, like I've had so many Taurus friends in the past, and this is not something that you would ever expect that they would put themselves through, but right, with the devil, like I understand, especially when it comes to Taurus, because if this is a comfortable situation, even though you may not be happy with it, changing things is not exactly easy, but that Ace of Swords, like, the truth is right there. That clarity is right there. You already see it. You already know it. It's just, you need to face it, speaking your truth though, too. But it's all in order for you to get to this place where this is done. This chapter's over with. You don't have to go through this again. In your environment, the Four of Pentacles, what I worry about here is that some of you are hanging on for dear life, but at the same time, you're not wanting to give any more to this, but with the Eight of Cups, you're still doing it. The Four of Pentacles is about trying to maintain some level of stability, right? What little bit that you have gained. It does definitely talk about, financial stability, but I don't want to give any more. I don't want to give anything away. I don't want anything to change. But with the Eight of Cups, you're keeping yourself stuck. And then it would make sense that it progresses to the devil, where it becomes something that has power over you, right? And it's funny because with the Eight of Cups, it's saying don't give to this anymore, right? If you continue to give to this, and everything that you have given has almost been for nothing because you're not happy. You're not getting what you want out of it. And this could be somebody who is not giving to you or not giving their half, right? But I'm not looking at the Six of Pentacles, but you have to be willing to give up on this if it's making you unhappy or making you feel trapped or making you feel like you have to do this. Wow, Taurus. Your hopes and your fears, the Six of Cups, so going back to the past. And, what I said before still stands here. For some of you, you may be a little bit too worried about what somebody else thinks or what other people think. And then the other thing, though, too, with the Six of Cups, going back to the past and looking at the Six of Wands, at one point here, you felt like this is great. I have this victory going on. You want to get back to that place, but maybe in order to get back to that feeling, it's time to complete this out. It's time to end this. It's time for this chapter in your life to be done and over with. So you're not wasting your time with things that, are not fulfilling you anymore, And I go back to the Oracle cards, and I feel like Perseverance is saying that, I look at this and think that you need to not give up on yourself and not give up on, your own happiness and emotional fulfillment because you feel like a certain obligation to continue this. But this is no good for you, whatever this is, job, relationship, whatever it is that you feel like is, not giving you that fulfillment, right? And then I look at Rebel and you going, what, fuck it, right? I'm not doing this anymore. But the world to me is almost like assurance. Like if you do walk away from this and you stop doing this, you won't ever have to go back to this, and it's not like death where it's, facing this idea that there is no turning back here. It's that, you won't ever have to go through these types of things ever again. Not with the world being there, right? But you have to do what's necessary here. You're going to have to be willing to make the change. And you know that, right? It's just that sometimes the truth is not an easy thing to face, but I look at that Six of Cups and think some of you are wanting to get back to this feeling of victory, and feeling like you've done the right thing, but not for what other people are expecting of you. Coming out, strength, and needing to grab onto your inner strength to close this crap out. And then there's death. All right. Strength to persevere here, strength to do what is necessary to end this chapter so that you don't have to go through this anymore and not feel oppressed by something that is not making you happy. With the King of Cups, absolutely, we could be talking about a person. My problem is here as the Two of Pentacles that's next to him. Okay, so with the King of Cups, this may be somebody that, you are dealing with here. And at some point in the past, there's this feeling of this person supporting you. But are you trying to keep things going because you still want this person to support you, right? Now, on the other hand, for some of you with the King of Cups, this could be about you, right? Having control over your emotions, not getting too emotionally involved. But then when you move into the Eight of Cups, no, right? And with the Two of Pentacles, this is flexibility, trying to keep things going, bending over backwards when it's not helping you, right? And you're not getting anything from this, or somebody isn't giving to you anymore, especially with that Four of Pentacles being there. Death. The devil's done. It's done. And with the world, you're good, right? And as long as you hold on to that inner strength, death is saying that things will change here, but they're going to change where you get to rise above this, right? It's not bad, but I worry a little bit about this King of Cups and where he's coming into play for some of you. Don't bend over backwards for somebody who at one point was supportive, but then may not be anymore, That's not fair to you. It's not fair to you. Needing to have some assurance here. But the thing is if we're looking at wisdom in the middle of this, we're talking about, your own inner wisdom that is telling you that maybe it's time for a new adventure here. And with assurance, again, your wisdom is telling you that there is assurance in what you are planning, what you are wanting to do, right? A lot of times people are needing assurance before they jump into something, or, wanting to take a new adventure, right? But this is really telling you that the universe is supporting you, right? There is assurance there that what you're doing is going to be the right thing. And again, with the world being there, to me, it's saying that this is going to be a good thing for you. You just have to take the next steps here to complete this out. And then true love. This love is a once-in-a-lifetime love. So for those of you who are in a relationship, it looks really good. It's just saying that you need to appreciate the moments that you have with this person. And right, don't worry about, doing the wrong thing here. It is time for you guys to have a new adventure. Death to me coming out with strength is perfect. Because this is things changing in a way where you're going to be so much stronger and so much better. But, you have to complete this out. You have to do what is necessary here. Face the truth of the situation that, this is not good for you. It's not going to give you what you want. It's not going to make you happy. And if it has to do with a person, stop bending over backwards for them, right? If we're talking about a work situation. But your wisdom here is what's going to guide you to take that new adventure here. And don't worry, right? The universe is showing you that everything's going to be fine. There's that assurance there for you if you do decide to stop doing this.